National Dairy Development Board NDDB Executive Director Minesh Shah has taken additional charge as the board's chairman for 6 months. Shah has replaced Varsha Joshi after her tenure ended on May 31st, NDDB said in his statement. He took the additional charge with effect from June 1st. He will remain as the chairman for 6 months or until further orders. Shah has over 35 years of experience in the dairy sector. He is the member secretary of the Indian National Committee of the International Dairy Federation and also a member of the Standing Committee on Dairy Policy and Economics of International Dairy Federation. The dairy sector in India grew at a CAGR of 10% between 14-15 and 19-20. This is as per a report published by a global advisory firm O3 Capital. India is the world's largest producer and consumer of milk and milk products and contributes to 30% of the global milk production and a domestic consumption market of $94 billion. The share of private players in the dairy sector, which was 45% by financial year 20, to likely to further expand over the next 5 years to reach 50% as consumer preference for higher quality and hygienic product increases. Liquid milk and traditional value-added products fetch lower margins, however they deliver high return on capital employed due to limited investment. On the other hand, emerging value-added products attract higher margins, however fetch lower ROCE. Geography-wise, North India remained the largest producer of milk, accounting for 50% of the total production of India, while the top 10 states accounted for nearly 80% of the milk and milk products made in the country. With customers increasingly shopping online during the pandemic, according to Red Seer Consulting, the online e-grocery market stood at $3.3 billion in calendar year 20, of which online milk delivery startups accounts for 7 to 8%. And is expected to grow at a compound rate of 50% per year for the next 5 years. During the second wave of the ongoing pandemic, online milk delivery startups such as Country Delight, Fresh to Home and Super Daily saw 15 to 20% growth daily. Country Delight, an online milk company, says its business has seen a double increase since the start of the pandemic in the top 10 metro areas. But their business will not expand to more than 15 to 20 cities in the future, as each city is a large market in itself. Super Daily, an aggregator of morning essentials, is currently meeting 2 lakh of daily deliveries, up from 30,000 deliveries before the pandemic in 6 metros. Along with milk, curd, paneer, etc. are also purchased. Fresh to Home entered the milk delivery space in 2019. Today, consumers are gravitating towards less processed foods and fresh produce. The company ventured into groceries in 2020. The company has increased its range of stock keeping units from 80 to 250 during the pandemic. Against the backdrop of an agitation by milk farmers over plummeting price in Maharashtra, State Dairy Minister Sunil Kedar said that government would look into demands for a fair and remunerative price for milk along the lines of sugarcane. Cane farmers are guaranteed a minimum price known as FRP. Dairies have slashed procurement price for milk over the last few months. Farmers groups have also been pushing for milk prices to be raised to Rs 35 per litre. The FRP for milk has been discussed several times, but there are challenges to its implementation as very little milk is procured by government and bulk of trade is with private sector. The state procures less than 1% of milk produced. Cooperative dairies procure 35%, while private dairies procure over 60%. Officials said it was difficult to enforce pricing in a decontrolled sector dominated by private players. Farmer groups said private and cooperative dairies had slashed procurement rates by Rs 10 to 15 during lockdown. Farmers used to get 35 rupees per litre before lockdown, then it fell to Rs 20. Farmers are being looted, said Ajit Navle of Kisan Sabha. Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa on Wednesday launched the first of its kind animal welfare war room here to reach out to dairy farmers, cattle breeders and increase the health and productivity of livestock. The war room has been set up at the Commissionerate of Animal Husbandry and Veterinary Services. An animal welfare helpline number has been set up at the Commissionerate at an expense of Rs 45 lakhs. The helpline, which would be available round the clock, would work to protect livestock against disease, natural disasters and human-caused harm and cruelty. The welfare helpline would receive complaints, queries or suggestions through telephone, WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, email and publish the daily statistics on the department website. Underlining the importance of cattle, the Chief Minister said animal husbandry has a huge contribution to the country's GDP. Animal Husbandry Minister Prabhu Chavan said the war room would be a boon to the dairy farmers and cattle breeders as it would address their concerns. Villagers in the central state of Chhattisgarh complained the police last week after more than 800 kilograms of dung disappeared from their storehouse. A massive manhunt is underway to nab the robbers. Police said the gang struck at night, breaking into the depository in Korba district's Dhurena village and fleeing with their pungent plunder estimated to be worth some 1600 rupees or 22 US dollars. The police stated that it was not clear how the suspects had been able to transport such a large amount of feces or why they had stolen it. Chhattisgarh buys bovine dung from dairy farmers at rupees 2 per kg under a state scheme to produce vermicompost. In recent years, many Indian states have been encouraging farmers to sell cow poo for organic farming. There has also been an increased demand for cattle waste for eco-friendly products such as earthen lamps and for religious purposes. In 2019, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Hindu nationalist government invested 5 billion rupees into research into developing medicines and personal hygiene products and mosquito repellent from cow dung and urine. India's Agriculture Infrastructure Fund and cotton subsidies have come beneath scrutiny on the WTO, with Australia looking for clarity on the scope of the fund and affirmation that New Delhi has not exceeded its 10% ceiling assist known as the de minimis in commerce parlance for the pure textile fiber. At the Assembly, Canada, the EU, Russia, Ukraine and the US once more questioned India on continued restrictions regarding imports of pulses, public stockpiling, export subsidies for skim milk powder and its export prohibition on onions. On the AIF, Canberra sought particulars of how financing shall be offered for the task, together with the crops that fall inside the definition of export clusters. The Agriculture Infrastructure Fund is a medium long-term debt financing facility for funding tasks for post-harvest administration, infrastructure and group farming property, corresponding to offering provide chain infrastructure for clusters of crops together with export clusters. Australia additionally needed to know which fruits, greens and different commodities are included within the export clusters.
Thanks for watching Daily News 7x7 channel with news update from last 7 days. To continue receiving update from this channel, I Kuldeep Sharma request you to subscribe this channel and share and like the video, and also don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you.